An early morning, slightly chilly, patchy, foggy start. I was unexpectedly heading up to the annual Moto Guzzi Rally in Lavigne in northern Ontario. I had a new-to-me bike. It needed a decent road trip to shake out any lingering issues after its long rest. Unexpectedly, I'd had an invasive medical procedure a few days earlier and hadn't known how soon I'd be feeling up to a long ride, so I said I wouldn't be going. But in the end I recovered quickly and was ready for the road. I've ridden Highway 17 heading west more times than I can remember, but it's still a pleasant enough ride when the weather is nice. It was a quick 300-mile ride up to Lavigne, with the last few miles through rich farmland with lakebed sediments deposited more than 5,000 years ago in the waters of glacial Lake Nipissing. But I was soon closing in on the rally site.
I lied.
Oh my good God. And I kept on telling everybody, no, I'm sorry, he's not coming, he's not coming.
I've been coming to this rally on and off since about 2014. It's a friendly gathering, and nobody cares which bike you arrive on. Even Felix's Ducati was welcome. Day 2 looked like it was going to be a wet one. Many of the group headed off on a Saturday ride to Killarney. I chose to stay closer, opting for a short ride north to explore some of the roads to the north of the main highway. I'd been hoping to explore Road 805, which follows the Sturgeon River inland for quite a distance, but after a few miles abandoned that idea. It seemed cruel to subject the previous owner, Eddie's wonderful bike, to further abuse, so I turned around. Although the skies seemed to be clearing as I rode back through the village of Verna, I could see a major storm over to the south. I was lucky. I made it back to the shelter of the rally site before the skies opened. Others weren't so lucky. That evening, as the awards were handed out, Eddie's bike was declared Best Moto Guzzi. I was honoured and thrilled. Instead of heading home, I decided to lengthen my ride by heading up the Lake Superior coast. But first I headed inland again to ride the delightful road which loops from Elliott Lake around to Iron Bridge, following the Little White River for much of the way. I often stop at these rest areas, partly for a quick break from the saddle, but mostly to look out over the lakes and enjoy the scenery away from the road. Stopped for a little break at this little lake just off the highway, just up from Elliott Lake. Just to have a look, because it's a nice day. Well, it's an okay day. A bit grey, a bit rainy, but not too bad. See my lovely rain garments? I picked this up one time when I was riding the Panther, and it's the only thing I could find at the local hardware store. But with a combination of my leathers, which cut the wind nicely, and padded inside so plenty warm, because it's not exactly warm today. Passing through Rydalbank, where once we lived, I took the back roads to Sault Ste Marie, and my destination for the night. I have a knack for finding cheap, sometimes grim accommodation. I've got a delightful room for the night. It's one of the cheaper motels in Sault Ste Marie, but there are a few things that perhaps indicate that it's not a top-notch establishment. There's a 1/4-inch gap down the side of the air conditioner, and I'm not sure I'd really want to try the air conditioner. The wiring is a little bit dubious, let's say that. And the bathroom, yes, well, I haven't seen a better caulking job for a long time. Pretty spectacular. I've ridden up the Lake Superior coast multiple times and it still pleases. Despite the marginal weather, I decided this was as good a way to spend one's birthday as any other. The scale of the lake is mind-boggling. It's hard to believe it's fresh water and not some salty inland sea. My son Alex had been going on about the apple fritters from this place for ages, so I decided one was as good a breakfast as anything else I might find. The GoPro footage of this highway doesn't really do the scenery justice, especially on a dull day. The road rises and falls over headlands, often providing broad views of the lake, when one isn't riding between steep-sided rock cuts where the road's been carved through the native Precambrian granite. Another roadside stop, this time at Alona Bay, and a chance to look out across the water. And then on to Wawa for some more refreshment. I decided to head along Highway 101 from Wawa to Chapleau and then on to Timmins for the night. But each time I stopped, I noticed that the idle had become a little rougher than it had been when I set out. There was nothing to worry about, but you know how these things start to play on your mind, even if the bike was performing perfectly at normal road speed. For some reason, the vibration has loosened one of the little screws for the carb. So I think if I stick this thing up through here, and across the top and under the float bowl, at least the other one's not going to come loose. Yeah, wouldn't want the top of the carb to spring off if this came loose. So until I can get another little bolt, M whatever that is, that should hold it in place. Oh, we're at the Atlantic watershed. Okay, and away we go, I hope. Well, I got to Timmins, but the whole place was booked up solid with mine workers. I was quoted $370 for the last room at the Comfort Inn. Onward to Engelhart for the night, where I found a really dismal motel. No pictures. From Engelhart, I crossed over into Quebec to take Quebec Highway 101 down the east side of the vast Lake Timiskaming. But first I had a pleasant early morning ride through flat farmland, this time on soils derived from sediments deposited in the 12,000-year-old proglacial Lake Barlow Ojibwe. More forested hills, lakes and wetlands as I headed south. I stopped at this delightful roadside picnic area. I'm constantly impressed at how Quebec's roadside stops are almost always spotless. This bathroom was immaculate. Not a piece of graffiti or dropped toilet paper to be seen. I think Quebecers have a national pride that the rest of the country would do well to emulate. Before long I crossed back onto the other side of the waterway, now the Ottawa River, which runs out of Lake Timiskaming, and headed home along familiar roads. I'd had enough of playing with the GoPro for one ride. It was time to put some serious miles behind me if I was going to be sleeping in my own bed tonight. Not a bad little shakedown cruise on a wonderful bike. Don't forget, my various motorcycle books are available on Amazon and Audible in paperback, digital and audiobook formats. Thanks for watching.